Hello everyone and welcome back to the channel. Today we're breaking down the best star card setups for Boba Fett in Star Wars Battlefront 2, covering heroes vs villains, co-op, capital supremacy and galactic assault. As a max level Boba Fett main, I will say this: Boba might not have the best selection of star cards, but if you use the right setup, he can become one of the most dangerous and mobile villains in the game. Let's jump into each mode and show you how to make Boba Fett a true menace on the battlefront. So let's start with heroes vs villains. In Heroes vs Villains, Boba Fett is the best used as a hit and run aerial attacker. He can be easily shut down by force users or long range blaster heroes if you're not careful. But with the right star card setup, you can keep your distance, disorient enemies and deal constant damage. The first star card we're going to be using is Born to Fly. Boba Fett's abilities cool down faster while in the air, but the health regeneration starts 1.5 seconds later. You get a 20% cooldown reduction. This is Boba Fett's best star card across all modes. It even activates while jumping or falling, not just when using the jetpack. This is amazing for getting to use your abilities more frequently, which in turn will get you more damage, eliminations and grant you with a higher survivability. An additional 20% is nothing to be snuffed at. This ability is fantastic when facing a lot of enemy blaster heroes. Getting your concussion rocket, which blinds enemies and disables their blasters back more frequently, is really good. The second star card we're going to be using is Acute Concussion. Concussion rocket will concuss enemies for 2 seconds longer. Keep in mind this doesn't extend how long their blaster is disabled, just how long they're visually blinded. Still, it gives you more time to reposition or follow up with damage safely. Really good against enemy blaster heroes like Leia, Chewbacca and Han Solo. If they are blinded, they can't hit you accurately, so extending the duration is going to allow you a window to damage them or escape. The third star card we're going to be using is Focalize. Rocket Barrage deals 10 bonus damage per rocket at the centre of the explosion in a 1 meter radius. This adds up really quickly, especially if you land a barrage directly on an enemy. Great for dueling or finishing off weakened heroes, particularly good at finishing a group of unsuspecting heroes who are busy fighting your teammates. The damage is definitely noticeable. More damage equals more eliminations. Now we don't have any bonus star cards for Boba Fett, as there isn't many good choices in this mode. Some people will mention the jetpack refuel cards, but as a max Boba Fett player, they are not really worth it, they're almost useless. Boba's jetpack fuel cards are basically worthless. They offer a tiny 15% fuel bonus that's barely even noticeable, and to be honest I don't even think they offer the percentage stated in the card's description, because I can't even notice a difference myself. I've even tested them in like split screen, and to be honest it gives you like an extra half a second. It's just really not worth it. Now let's move on to the co-op star cards.
There's always room for one more, the cargo hold.
In co-op, Boba Fett is an absolute powerhouse. AI troopers are not as unpredictable as players, so you're free to fly around, rain down barrages and control the map. This setup is designed to help you maximise damage output and maintain momentum. So first up is Born to Fly. Boba Fett's abilities cool down faster while in the air, but his health regeneration starts 1.5 seconds later. 20% cooldown reduction. This is Boba Fett's best star card for all modes. The added 20% cooldown while in the air means all of your abilities are going to come back faster when you're jumping, falling or using your jetpack. This card is great in co-op. Also, the added bonus of being able to refresh your cards faster by simply jumping is crazy good, and means you're even able to use this card when you have no jetpack fuel. Although, this card is best put to use when flying around, as you have a constant 20% cooldown. The second star card we're going to be using is Focalize. Rocket Barrage deals 10 bonus damage per rocket at the centre of the explosion in a 1 meter radius. Since AI clump up a lot, this makes your barrage even more lethal, especially in the enemy spawn points or objectives. This card is absolutely brutal on maps like Kessel and Jabba's Palace. Your rocket barrage will be responsible for a lot of your eliminations, so increasing its damage is essential to get in those high elimination matches. The third star card we're going to be using is Intense Barrage. If rocket barrage deals more than 500 damage in one use, the cooldown is reduced by 7 seconds. This card is absolutely trash in all other game modes, but it's pretty good in co-op, especially on Jabba's Palace, where enemies pack tight and you're almost always able to trigger the cooldown bonus. Fire the rocket barrage into enemies as they run through one of the spawn gates and you'll have a pretty good chance of activating the Intense Barrage star card. This will allow you to use your barrage more frequently, and like I said before, this is responsible for a lot of your eliminations, so having Focalize, which increases the damage, and then Intense Barrage, which has the potential to increase the frequency you can use it, is very good. Now I would not recommend using this card on any other game mode, only co-op, and on specific maps. I would only use this card on Jabba's Palace and Kessel, as dealing 500 damage with the rocket barrage is almost impossible on other maps that don't have tight clustered hallways. Now we do have a bonus star card for Boba Fett, and that is Augmented Gear. If concussion rocket hits 3 or more enemies, Boba Fett's jetpack does not consume fuel for 4 seconds. This gives you more airtime, better positioning and great synergy for Born to Fly on open maps. Now remember, Born to Fly allows your abilities to come back 20% faster while in the air. Swap the Intense Barrage star card for augmented gear when on larger, more open maps. Intense Barrage will be useless on those maps. Hitting 3 enemies with a concussion rocket is fairly easy in co-op too, so you should be able to make good use of this card. Now let's move on to the Capital Supremacy and Galactic Assault star cards.
If you triple the prize, I might let you live.
In Capital Supremacy and Galactic Assault, Boba Fett plays more like a support harasser. He's best at flanking groups, softening up enemies and picking off squishy targets. Use this setup to stay mobile and effective in large scale battles. The first star card we're going to be using is once again Born to Fly. Boba Fett's abilities cool down faster while in the air, but his health regeneration starts 1.5 seconds later, 20% cooldown reduction. Again, we are using this card on all builds, it's essential. You'll be flying and jumping constantly, this card lets you always have your abilities at the ready. The 20% cooldown reduction is going to allow you to use your abilities more frequently, and thus get more eliminations, assists and keep you alive in a pinch. Don't underestimate how good this card is, 20% is no joke. The second star card we're going to be using is Acute Concussion. Concussion Rocket will concuss enemies for 2 seconds longer. Keep in mind this doesn't extend how long their blasters are disabled, just how long they're visually blinded. This is useful for disrupting grouped enemies and escaping tight situations, especially around objectives. Remember, if enemies can't see you, they will find it incredibly difficult to hit you. It's also helpful for your team. Blinding large groups of enemies on an objective will allow your team to push with less risk, or allow your team a few precious seconds to regenerate some health. It goes back to the old saying, you can't kill what you can't see. The third star card we're going to be using is Focalize. Rocket Barrage deals 10 bonus damage per rocket at the centre of an explosion, in a 1 meter radius. Great for clearing crowds or dealing damage to clustered enemies near capture points or corridors. Particularly good on Galactic Assault maps like Kamino and the Palace section of Naboo. Pretty good on the Death Star too. The extra damage allows you to drop multiple targets at once with a single barrage use, providing that you are accurate with it. Now we do have a bonus star card for Boba Fett, and that is Augmented Gear. If Concussion Rocket hits 3 or more enemies, Boba Fett's jetpack doesn't consume fuel for 4 seconds. Now I'd swap this in with Acute Concussion if you or on more open maps or are focusing on staying airborne. This card pairs perfectly with Boba Fett's Born to Fly for unmatched mobility and faster cooldown cycles. Be careful though, as if you become too annoying for the enemy team, they may focus you, and Boba Fett's survivability on big modes isn't great. Boba Fett only has 600 health, which to be honest it's not that much more than reinforcements, so you've got to be very careful. Not to mention that Boba Fett's health regeneration isn't very good either. And that wraps up the best star card setups for Boba Fett in all game modes on Star Wars Battlefront 2. So let me know in the comments below what your favourite Boba Fett setup is. I would love to see what you guys are using, and perhaps I'll give it a try and like it more than my own. If you found this video helpful, don't forget to leave a like, comment and subscribe for more Battlefront 2 guides, and hit that notification bell so you don't miss a single upload. Also check out my other videos on the channel. We've got tips and tricks and star card guides for all your favourite heroes, villains, reinforcements, vehicles and classes. Thank you for watching, and I'll see you in the next one. Peace.